Our Thursday movie special, Holiday Inn, will continue right after Newscene 11 update.
I'm Alice Blanchard. In the news tonight, flooding will threaten parts of southern Washington this evening.
Newscene 11, the 10 o'clock report with Phil Wilson, Alice Blanchard, Bob Robertson, and Dave Torsha.
Good evening. Mount St. Helens is steaming right along tonight.
Newscene 11, the 10 o'clock report with Alice Blanchard, Jack Eddy, Bob Marsden, and Dave Torsha.
Live from Channel 11, the 10 o'clock news with Charles Johnson, Steve Williams, John Fawson, and Dave Torsha. On News Plus, an in-depth look at the lawsuit filed against Pierce County and the racketeers who ran the county's underworld in the 1970s.
Good evening. 2 men survived the crash of a small plane southeast of Port Orchard late this afternoon.
Good evening, I'm Wendy Mann. Coming up at 10, over 30 anti-nuclear protesters were carried off the tracks near Bangor tonight.
Good evening, I'm Charles Johnson.
And I'm Wendy Mann. A high school play that has stirred up controversy in the Bethel School District will go on Friday night. A group of citizens protested to the school board tonight the production of the play Working, based on Studs Terkel's bestseller.
Good evening. The statistics are in for Tacoma's homicide cases this year, and it does not look good.
Good evening, I'm Charles Johnson.
I'm Wendy Mann. Tonight on the 10 o'clock news, an apparent shooting incident in Puyallup leaves 2 men dead. The bodies discovered tonight by a friend that stopped by. A landmark court decision for a former Tacoma soldier. The Army ban on homosexuals is ruled unconstitutional.
And sunken oil barges in Puget Sound. New concerns about them in the wake of the big spill near Anacortes. Cal has ball scores. Stay with weather.
And we help answer the question, do you need a tax preparer? Next.
Live from KST Washington, the 10 o'clock news with Charles Johnson, Wendy Mann, sports with Cal Glomstead, and meteorologist Dave Torsha.
An apparent murder in Puyallup. 2 men found dead tonight in a house in the South Hill area.
Good evening. Tonight on the Sunday Report, a violent murder in a small, quiet town outside of Tacoma. Rustin's leader is dead, the case still unsolved. An anti-Israeli march in Seattle streets today, the group's key focus, Seattle television stations. It's taken 5 months, but the big game has arrived. A Super Bowl preview in this half hour. Kenny Mayne with football, the stars, and naturally all the scores. Terry Getty with rain to start our week. Thanks for joining us. The Sunday Report is next.
Live from KST Washington, it's the 10 o'clock news Sunday Report with Rod Simons, Kenny Mayne, sports, and Terry Getty, weather.
Rustin is a small town outside of Tacoma, bordering Point Defiance Park.
Good evening. Coming up on the Weekend Report, barrels of what appears to be oil were found dumped into the Sound near the Narrows Bridge.
Live from KST Washington, this is the 10 o'clock news.
Good evening again. The 6th and most serious coup attempt against Philippine President Corazon Aquino appears to be fizzling. Hundreds of rebel troops abandoned the TV station and military bases they seized after American jets roared over Manila today.
This is a KST Washington news update.
Good evening, I'm Wendy Mann. Bail has been set for the man accused of murdering a Queen Anne resident.
Live from KST Washington, this is the 10 o'clock news. Over the years, we were unfairly criticized.
This is a KSTW TV 11 news update.
Tonight on the 10 o'clock news, an 80-foot construction crane takes a big spill in Kent, knocking out some power lines. We'll tell you more about what happened.
You're watching KSTW TV 11. Now, from the Northwest and the world, the first news of the night. From Channel 11, this is the 10 o'clock news.
The incessant bombing of Iraq continues tonight as yet another ceasefire plan fizzles. What was likely the final diplomatic maneuver before a ground war begins in the Persian Gulf is over. Now,
from KSTW TV 11, the first news of the night. With Charles Johnson, Robin Sewell, weather with Dave Torsha, sports with Tony Potts. This is the 10 o'clock news.
We may all rest a little easier tonight. After an intense 7-month investigation, an arsonist is behind bars. Good evening again. A 27-year-old Linwood man is in custody tonight, charged with 3 counts of arson.
You're watching KSTW Northwest 11. Now with the first news for Western Washington. This is the 10 o'clock news.
Batten down the hatches, a wild windstorm whipped through Western Washington, knocking out power to more than 100,000 people. Hurricane-force gusts have been recorded along the coast as high as 81 miles an hour.
Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Good X-ray. Tell us how you grabbed the fire axe and hit him.
I'm Mike Wallace. I'm Morty Safer. I'm Ed Bradley.
Honey, look, something new is happening.
Hello, I'm Shauna McLaughlin. Welcome to Eye on 11. The Channel 11 you've been watching for years is about to get a whole lot better. KSTW is becoming a CBS network affiliate. So what does that mean for you?
Live from your CBS news station, you're watching 11 News at 5.
The quiet of a Bellevue neighborhood is shattered by a train. A health department warning tonight for contaminated shellfish. We'll have details. And a cat that is living his second life and inspiring everyone he meets.
You're watching 11 at 11. 11 minutes of non-stop news and your forecast first on 11 News Tonight.
Good evening. I'm Christine Chen in for Monica Gale. Topping 11 at 11 tonight, 3 people are hurt when a dinner train crashes into a van in a Bellevue neighborhood. Tonight on the 10 o'clock news.
A Puyallup neighborhood gets blasted. Windows smashed, nerves rattled. What was all this about?
John Stanford is buried with military honors, but he is remembered as an educator.
And here at KSTW, after 24 years of broadcasting the news, tonight we take a final walk down memory lane. Good evening, I'm Don Porter.
And I'm Christine Chen. The last 10 o'clock news is next.
Number 1 at 10, the 10 o'clock news on UPN 11.
Good evening. They really had a blast in Puyallup today. Well, actually, 2 blasts.
Eyewitness News at 10 on UPN 11 begins right now.
Good evening. I'm Allison Starling in tonight for Sally Schulze.
And I'm Kevin McCarty in for Wayne Haverly. Tonight, a dramatic developing story. 9 climbers stranded on Mount Rainier.
This is Weather Watch on CW11, sponsored by Beacon Plumbing. Stop freaking, call Beacon.
Cold front passing through western Washington is going to bring the possibility of some patchy drizzle as we head through tonight into the early hours on Saturday.
This is Inside Sports on CW11.
Tiger Woods will not be around this weekend at the Open Championship. Tiger missed the cut after shooting a 75 on Friday.
I heard my son say was, what did I do?
Now, the moments that matter most from across the country and here at home. A deeper dive into the biggest stories impacting the nation.
The majority of Americans support banning members of Congress from trading stocks.
Financial tips we can all live by.
Every tax year, there's something new for people to deal with.
Plus, the positive and the inspiration.
Keep on doing my best to pass this forward.
I'm Tom Hanson. Your news starts now.
This is Seattle Now News at 10. I'm Elizabeth Cook in for Ann Makovic tonight. We begin with a push to make the streets safer following the deadliest year for traffic fatalities across the state in decades.
The warm feeling you get, seeing old friends, sharing a moment and remembering when Channel 11 brings it all back again. You're part of the family, be part of the fun. KST Washington. Their special magic never disappears. You're part of